So while the PowerPoint is set up, first I want to thank you all for being here with us today. It'll be the last roundtable or panel today, and also I want to thank all the speakers that are here with me, and I hope that what we talk about is interesting to you. First of all, explain to you why we have included this topic. So it's just research on cybersecurity according to the demand. So we consider that cybersecurity is guided by three pillars. So the industry, which is small companies, big companies, industries, and they care about the needs of the end user, and they introduce in the market the products and needs to cover those needs. So the industry knows about products, about users, about channels, about sales. Another type of agents in the cybersecurity sector is what we call the academy, which is technological centers, research centers in universities. The role is also very important. They have the work of confronting those scientific challenges and of solving out those attacks, of those breaches that exist. They talk in terms of science. They find paradigms such as intelligence, artificial intelligence, and things like that, in which they find different algorithms that can find a solution for these problems. And the third typology of agents that participate in cybersecurity is the administration, the regulative agents. We think that we have a very strong cybersecurity sector in this country if those three areas work together. So one of the main questions regarding to this is getting the industry and the academy, the research, cooperate more. This is what we call technological transfer, so that the research help the industry to create products that are innovative, but that are also solid or robust enough to cover the demands of the end user. So here, what we want to do is to analyze with our speakers this issue, and they will tell us about their experience and their cases, and if this cooperation between the research area and the industry is taking place. So, so we have here Ayerbe from Tecnalia, Carmen Fernández Gago from Malaga, María Martínez from CDTI, Vicente Matellán from Castilla and León, and Alfonso Fernández Doval from Castilla and León too. And then I will talk about them later on, and they can show us their perspective on the topic that we are covering today here. First of all, I want to give you some data that I have gotten from the Spanish Observatory of Investigation and Development. This is between 2015 and 2018, but it's important because this allows us to see how important it is the research in this field in our country. So let's just to tell you that 1.9% of the gross product is used for this. But many people in Spain is dedicated for research and development in Spain. So we have done a study, and we have found 103 teams working on this. So it's a good amount of people working on this. However, considering this funding that we have, the greatest program in Spain, it's at a rank of 10.7. One important data is that Spain accounts for 13% of the most cited papers. This means that the work that our researchers do is quite important. And it means that even though the amount of money is less than from other countries, the research that we do has a big impact at a worldwide level. So we think it's quite important. If we divide this into sectors, you can see in this graph that there are some areas where the research is more notable. So, for example, the pointed area is the average, and if we consider this as a clock, so near the 11th hour, this would be the communication area, and which is important. And comparatively with the rest of the world, a good job is being done. So this should also be a good motivation for us to transfer the knowledge to the companies and to create more solid products for the end user. So with this, and to get to know what it's been done in the research area, I'll introduce the different speakers, and they can explain us if this transfer is being made, if the research is being done according to the demands of the user. So first, we have Ayerbe, which is the director of the IT business of Tecnalia. She is member of the technology platform EXO, and she's cooperated in the research for a long time. Well, good afternoon. I would like to very briefly introduce you the activities that we are doing regarding the technological transfer oriented by the demand. So Tecnalia is a center of innovation and technological development, and within the chain of value, we are between the research that universities do and the technological development that companies do. And we are in this area of applied research and sometimes closer to the technological development in those cases in which there are no companies that are providing that type of solutions. We are organized in 6 divisions or 6 areas: sustainability, environment, transportation and healthcare, and then the ICT division, which is a very transversal area. In the right, top right corner, you can see our financing, and this will give you an idea of the transfer that we do. We have a basic financing of 47%, 33% of competitive financing through different programs that help us to finance the research we're doing, and then we have a 19.7%, which is transferring towards the companies under different modalities. We work in different challenges: healthcare, urban habits, the digital world, hyperconnected, which allows us for us to be here today speaking about cybersecurity, and we can talk about blockchain, control and protection, compliance, risk management, and for more details, you can go to the website. For us, it's very important the open innovation related to the technological scientific environment and with other technological centers that we cooperate through different ways, but also with a company or business activities with different companies through which we can detect the needs on these areas in the different sectors to guide better our research. But for us is also very important the European connectivity, and there is a very strategic alliance called Medici, in which different centers are included. And here we work in different areas altogether. We are talking about 11,000 researchers at an European level. The relationship models that we work with, we like to differentiate between the small companies or the big companies that are very innovative. And according to this, we use different tools. For small companies that are not very innovative, we put people inside those companies, and they are trying to help to get the technology to these companies. And then in big companies or small companies that are very innovative, we use a totally different model in which we work all together and we create a trust relationship. We work with their current business model and with the creation of skills that is really necessary, and creating new formulas that allow for a future business. We believe that it's very important to get technology closer to the companies, and for this we count with different labs on cybersecurity, which allow us to show all the companies what can be and cannot be done with the technology. And in the end, it is an easier way to for technological transfer. And finally, I would just like to talk to you about a new initiative, which is trying to help the startups in the Death Valley phase to try to create new business opportunities. Thank you very much, Ana. Our next speaker is Marina Martínez, PhD. She is a professor in CDTI, and she works for the Innovation and Science Ministry. She is the Innovation Program member in Europe, and she is a program officer of the H2020 office. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Well, thank you very much for the invitation. It is a pleasure to be here again, and the CDTI cooperating with INCIBE, the most important event in this area, and we are very happy that there is an area related with research and development. You get to know us because of our national projects, but at a European level, we are responsible of coordinating the Spanish participation in Horizon 2020, which is the most important program in Europe regarding the intensity and the funding and the help, the financial help for the participant. Regarding the cybersecurity, we can find it in a part of H2020, which is called leadership and industry, and also in the security area. H2020, the work program, is published every 2 years. So every 2 years, the Commission not only defines the issues in each area, but also the priorities of Europe at that moment. In 2014 and 2015, we had 15 priorities, and in 2016 and 17, it went down to 9 areas, and then in the last part, the European Commission has established, regarding the social and economical context of Europe, that the needs in which Horizon 2020 must focus are 4. 2 of them very much related with cybersecurity. The transformation of the European industry towards digital, and then security, cybersecurity included. The security program includes different factors, such as catastrophes management and also natural and human catastrophes, and then cybersecurity is included here. So when we talk about research in cybersecurity within Horizon 2020, we are not talking about basic research, but about applied research and very close to a final product that it's focused to the needs of users. So in H 2020, the fact that there is a transfer of that innovation to from that development to the final user is part of the project. And the project, what does to you is help you validate the concept with a real user that outside of the project a market can be developed upon him. So it's not about cyber defense, but about cyber security. So the goal is to develop things that go towards the standard and that fulfill some rules and regulations, and that also cover some ethical aspects of cybersecurity. Then I would like to very briefly explain the opportunities for the next convocatory, which starts in March 2019 and it closes on August 2019. The first is an opportunity that covers the development of cybersecurity tools for the citizen, for all of us with our laptops, in which, of course, these tools must be tested and verified in a significant number of people, of citizens that use these tools. And then the second one is also very interesting because it develops tools for small and micro companies. Let's have in mind that the average size of the small companies in Spain is not always the one that we have outside of Europe. It's usually micro companies. So I think there's a very good opportunity here for our developers to use this type of end user, which is the type of user that we can find in Spain, to develop tools that are useful for us regarding cybersecurity. Another opportunity that is also interesting is the development of cybersecurity tools to critical infrastructures, for example, transportation. Here, what we are requesting for the 2020 is to combine two different transportation methods in which you can establish the interrelationships between the cybersecurity, including tools that not only include the cybersecurity, but also the physical security. So the both aspects are combined. It is especially considered the fact of transportation, something that is not very common, but in the urban area. Another critical area is the cybersecurity in the healthcare system. We're not talking about the medical history, but also on the hospital infrastructure and the medical centers and the cooperation of those bodies and organizations that provide this service to the society. And finally, what I want to talk about is what is important in the cybersecurity program this year and next year. First of all, a series of pilots have been approved to develop a network of cyber competency at the European level. So 4 projects have been developed for this, to develop these networks. So the goal is to coordinate these networks and to develop a network of research and development for the whole Europe. Another initiative that we will see not only next year, but the idea is that it lasts all the way to the next Marco framework, is the creation of a European center that will coordinate the response of the member states regarding the attacks on cybersecurity. This center will not only be a coordination center, but will also include research, innovation, operational procurement, investment, and it will also give money to the national centers so they can develop their own initiatives within each country. This is the first time that we are seeing Europe trying to include under the same organization the whole chain of value, from the operational to the development and to the end user. And the next one.
Thank you very much, Marina. The next speaker is the Dr. Fernández Gago. She's a researcher at the Network Information and Computer Security unit at the University of Malaga. Her areas of interest are reputation and the scenarios of IoT. She has published many articles and has led many investigation research projects and has worked in projects with EXO. Carmen, thank you very much, Juan, and the INCIBE for giving me the opportunity to be here today at the INISE. As Juan said, I am member of the NICS lab, is the Network Information and Computer Security at the University of Malaga. I will continue now. So this is a research lab, it's a research group from the University of Malaga. We are part of the IT school. Part of the teachers are also in telecoms, and the group is comprised of 20 people. We are researchers, lecturers, postdoc researchers, also PhD students, and we have a technical staff and management staff who are essential for the project we are carrying out. So we are located in two different places. In Malaga, well, there's no beaches. They are located within the campus, so away from the tourism spots. And we have a building that is just for research, and this is where the group is mainly located. I don't think it's working. So the current research lines where we're working at in Malaga is the protection of critical infrastructures, security in IoT, Internet of Things, which started as a research line on cybersecurity in wireless sensor networks. Also, we research on security in the cloud. We work in different areas as FOG. We also work on digital identity management, trust and reputation management, localization, privacy, and we've opened a new line on 5G security. So besides having international presence and national presence in different fields, all these research lines are sometimes and preferably supported by projects that are what gives us the possibility to get funding to carry out the research. We've had a close relationship with different companies. We've done this through research projects. There's some examples on this slide, such as Dept, which is now Schneider, Telefónica, Siemens, France Telecom, Indra, Atos. These are companies that we've worked with in several projects, and we've signed specific research agreements with Indra, for example, we've signed a collaboration agreement, and we've also signed agreements with other international institutions in places like Singapore and the US. But in order, this technological transfer, in order to get the funding, well, we need to use programs which fund our research and can be of interest to companies. There are funding programs that are targeted to basic research, national programs, where we just do basic research and we don't need the support of companies. But there are others that are very interesting that are done in collaboration with companies. So the main tools that we use and that we manage and that are available to us to collaborate with companies and do the transfer are, for example, things like national programs, like the collaboration challenges, the impact program. Here you can see examples of some projects we've carried out with some companies. We have Indra, Alcatel, and we've had projects funded by the CDTI fund. Another source of funding for transference are, for example, the IDEA and Celtic seals through European consortiums, and then we get collaboration through the Ministry of Industry, through the Economic and Digital Society Strategic Action, which used to be known as the Avanza plan. These are very good plans, but sometimes universities find it hard to reach these programs because the company doesn't have a good funding system. So we don't get the funding. This is just a few examples, but on some occasions we've had signed contracts, agreements with the companies directly. These are companies that are familiar with us, that know our work. For example, with an American company that read some of the articles that someone had read on cryptography, and they signed an agreement with us in that field. So basic research, what I say, basic research has also been useful to achieve an agreement with companies and to transfer the knowledge in this way. And that's the next speaker. Thank you very much, Carmen. Our next speaker is Alfonso Fernández Doval, Head of Technology Transfer Unit, Department of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Institute for Business Competitiveness of Castilla y León. He's an industrial engineer. He's got an MA Management and also an MBA. He worked as an engineer, and he joined the administration of Castilla y León, and he's done consulting, project management, and head of his help direction. He works in the Institute of Competitiveness of Castilla y León, where he carries out projects on technological transfer and innovation. Alfonso. Thank you very much, Juan, and the other colleagues in this panel. For those who are not familiar with the Institute, even though Juan just mentioned it, this used to be the Agency for Development. It's a public body that depends on the Office of Castilla y León, and we promote the competitivity of the companies in our region, especially from innovation point of view. So we always use these chart so that people can get an idea of all the activities that we carry out at the Institute of Competitiveness. The policies, the land policies are carried out by the Institute as well. Also the internationalization of companies of the region. We also deal with funding to institutions, and we come from the Department of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, from the area of innovation and transfer. These are some of the functions, the roles we have within the department, and if we have some time, I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe we can discuss them, because some of them are closely linked to cybersecurity. We work together with INCIBE. We use some instruments of human capital training. We also have in-house training for some companies on cybersecurity. But the Institute is known for its economic funding and support of R&D and I. You can see some of the lines of support. There's two at the moment that could be related to cybersecurity, which is the development of the ICT industry as such. Any ICT company could propose research and projects including cyber elements, and also the line of incorporation of ICT into SMEs, anything that has to do with the incorporation of cybersecurity into companies. What I wanted to discuss here is the shift that we are proposing in the Institute. The support to R&D and I was done through an offer, but the public sector is a big buyer, and it has requirements and obligations that needs to cover. And the research, the demand-oriented research is a good title for this panel, because this is what we know. This is what we know as the public purchase of innovation, is the tools that the public administration can use to buy innovation directly to face challenges that they are experiencing in terms of general needs. Sometimes companies don't invest because they don't know what is being bought, and the public administration doesn't know what are the what the research is offering. So we've talked about this, but CPI is a mechanism to enhance the purchase of innovative solutions. The new law on agreements enhances this, and what we're interested in as INCIBE is in the improvement of the public administration, and this is something that is interesting for companies because changes what we know about invoicing, and it gives first customer that promotes scalability of and promotion of the company itself. So within the initiative from my institute, this is the CPI is included in a strategy, in a financial strategy, in something that we do from the unit of sectors. But the most important thing is that we have European funds. I don't know if I can say the amount, around 10 million euros in total, not only for cybersecurity, that we can use for innovative public purchasing. And this depends on the stage where the research is at the moment, the stage that needs to be purchased. And if we look at the Horizon 2020, we can see that this is on the first stages. And then then at the higher stages we have the purchase of the innovative solution, and then we have something which is the Association for Innovation that would cover the whole chart. So why are we here today? Because if we look at the right-hand side chart, we can see that the cybersecurity projects are ideal for this type of initiative. These are real projects within the public administration. It has a high innovation. It's feasible because we have the budget and we have the time. We are talking about the 2020, and we have the technical expertise. We have INCIBE. To be more precise, if we look at the different public purchases, we are oriented to the pre-commercial public purchase. So in this sense, there is a subtype that it's a bit difficult to explain in just a few words, which is the catalytic purchase, in which us as buyers don't have to be the end users. The institute provides the resources, but there are other end users, such as INCIBE, who could be users or collaborators as well. We have an agreement with INCIBE and Castilla and León, in which the institute does a preliminary consultation on the market, and we will carry out the tendering process. And what normally it's done in a tender process, we do assessment and the awarding. INCIBE has posed a few challenges, which is in the market consultations. We'll participate in the conversation, dialogue with the institutions that want to provide for the technical specifications, and there will be the collaboration of INCIBE in the panel of experts for the assessment, for the evaluation. Here are the 4 challenges that have been posed. If there are time or there are any questions, maybe we can discuss this into further detail. And that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alfonso. And the last speaker, we don't have much time. I hope we get some time for a bit of a Q&A. And at the end, you can make questions. The last speaker is Dr. Vicente Matellán, Director General of Supercomputing Center of Castilla y León. He is a PhD in IT from the Polytechnic University of Madrid. He is a teacher at the University Carlos III in Madrid and also at the University Rey Juan Carlos. In 1998, he joined the University of León, where he studies robotics, cybersecurity, and AI. And he also, at the same time, is the Director General of the Supercomputing Center of Castilla y León, Vicente. Thank you very much, Juan, and thank you for all of you for being here today, because it's a very sunny day. I will be very brief. I didn't prepare a presentation, but I would like to just, at the end, I would like to make a quick question. I have 2 hats. I have the researcher hat, and then now I've got the Director General hat. We have a stand in the hall if you want to visit us. We are called SCAYLE. Supercomputing Center of Castilla y León is a service of the research groups, and we compute for many companies as well. We have a poster where you can see the progress of our work, and we can see what we manage. When Calendula was born in 2008, it was many teraflops, and now we are talking about 230 teraflops. In these past 10 years, we've increased tenfold. We have an offer. Is this microphone better? We create an offer in the terms of the services we can offer, in terms of the calculation of password, in terms of offensive and defensive acts. We have clients that do calculations in neuronal numbers. In terms of demand, SCAYLE also has a different side, and it coordinates and manages the regional network of R&D and I. This is a fiber optic that connects all the provinces of Castilla and León and reaches other R&D centers in the region, centers, and also universities with research labs. And we're working in a project of incorporating internet access to all schools in a project called Connected Schools to have a bandwidth in the whole province, in the whole region. We work with the CERT of the IRIS network and in the regional CERT, but we have also opportunities to work from the point of view of demand. We have a critical infrastructure for the research in universities. We need services that are advanced in terms of cybersecurity for this network. Third aspect of the SCAYLE is that we also provide cloud services for public administration. We are a means of the public administration. We are a foundation. The president is our CEO, and we provide services we provide services to the autonomous community. We host hundreds of servers of SACIR, which is the regional management of the healthcare service in Castilla and León. We have their machines, and that means that we have security needs and requirements, and this has to do with demand. I can see that we don't have much time left, so if Juan allows me, I will change my hat and I will put my hat of researcher, and I would like to ask in terms of this innovative public procurement in this area. We are approaching research, but I'm afraid that researchers won't be able to apply their solutions. Is this true? I forgot to say that one of the goals of the project, and that's why it's in the transfer unit, is the transfer of research from the university centers and other research centers to the needs posed by INCIBE. I think it's an opportunity because this is not defined in the technical specifications. Maybe this could be done in collaboration and cooperation with companies. Let's see what happens in the future. Thank you. Well, I think that now is the time for the Q&A. If you have any questions, you can take the floor. I think that someone has raised their hand. This is for the University of Malaga. You said that you had different transfer models, and you had ones with a good funding system. What are the ones that you really like? Which ones would you scale and replicate? And is this aligned with innovative public purchase? Well, in terms of the innovative public purchase, we have no experience. I don't know if in Andalusia this exists. I don't know. I'm not aware of it. To us, any research program or an agreement with a company is good, because we need funding to keep on doing research. The research that can be done by teachers is not enough. We always need a great team behind us, because otherwise it's not possible. So any type of funding is good funding. These programs of collaboration challenges and the impact programs, those were good. So the TLRs are low, then? No. When we do these programs, these are projects with a company, and then, well, we have one with a company now, and the company says, now, I want 4.0 industry system, I'm not sure about the details, but they ask us for something, and from the company they say, we can do this, but we want you to do the rest because you have experience in researching in this topic, and we want you to do the rest. So the TLR is high because they will use it, the transfer, they will use it and market it later. So what are the success stories so that researchers join you? Because sometimes the research is probably not successful. How would you launch a challenge? What's a challenge? What do you mean in terms of the company? How would you show what the challenge is so that there is an offer? Well, in terms of funding, the problem with companies is that they don't have funding. They normally have loans, and this is something that depends on institutions. If they could get funding instead of loans, it would be easier for everyone. But the fundamental idea is that they get to know, that the companies get to know what the university can do for them, and that the base knowledge is necessary to solve the problems that they're facing. Any other questions? Yes, we have another one. I wanted to make a question, ask Marina. She is an expert, and what advice could you give to a company in Castilla y León in the field of cybersecurity to position themselves in an international consortium within the program Horizon 2020? How would you start doing this? Well, luckily, in the European field and the field of cybersecurity, there are not so many stakeholders and forums when we compare it with other ICT initiatives. It is key to get to know the stakeholders that are the main ones in this sector. We've got the EXO, which is the European platform on cybersecurity, which is quite open. Many things are open to members and as well as non-members. And there is a collaboration network between networks, regions, and that's a good place for those working groups that are related to ICT can collaborate with EXO in the field of cybersecurity. And in this sense, Europe is all about collaborating. This means that not only you with stakeholders from your country can apply, unless you do it for the SMEs instrument, but in terms of collaboration projects, you need the collaboration of other stakeholders at any level: university, technological center, small company, other member states and associated states. And I think those two forums are the main ones where a company from the region, which could be also a research entity or an SME, this is the place where they could go to show their competence. Given that most of the European programs is about validating and showing the technology to get the high TLRs, you're more appealing if you bring a potential end user where you can validate that technology, whether it's a health care setting, it's a consumer association, etc. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Well, I will make a question. I know we don't have much time. And Ayerbe from Tecnalia, as a technological center, you tend to have at the core the fact that research has to be client-focused. You have this wider application. Does this interfere with the progress of research in this more like scientific aspect of it, or can you live in both worlds? Well, what you're saying is a challenge indeed. We started working in TLRs 3 and 4, and we can reach higher TLRs. We normally get to 6, 7 because then it's direct transfer to companies, but these concerns about a more basic research is normally covered on the basis of with PhDs that we've done in collaboration with universities and academia, because for us collaboration with university is something essential in those early stages to reach different agreements, and we create those research lines in the long term, and these allow us to generate new researchers that get their PhDs with these research. And this allows us to progress. Well, we don't have time, but I would like to make a couple of questions to the speakers that have not participated in this part of the debate. Alfonso, maybe in terms of the public innovative purchase. I don't know many. I know the one about the INCIBE. Maybe you know one in the healthcare field. What's the way to get it? How can everyone participate? What's the clear message? What does it offer to institutions? Is there financial gain so that companies are encouraged to participate in the research groups so that they can work together? Well, we're just starting, so we're not sure how it will conclude, but the idea is that the efforts are joined. We are not sure about which TLRs we're talking about. I think it's interesting in economic terms, changing these not receiving grants but invoicing. In the early stages, there is a dialogue, and the researchers and companies can participate in creating the technical specifications, which is not usual. So this is innovative public purchase because at the beginning you don't know what you want to purchase. So we walk hand in hand, we assume the same risks, and I think this has an influence on the way of thinking of the administration, because it's not only about the criteria. We also have to think about risk and benefits, because maybe at the end of all of this we get a patent, and I think this is an interesting thing. And yes, there are many European programs that Marina knows that are supporting public purchase, public procurement. And Vicente, you are a researcher with a long history. You've researched in 3 universities. Do you think that the current model encourages the teachers to go about transfer? You also coordinate a PhD, and you can see this correlation between industry and academia. Maybe you think that there is a model nowadays, there is too scientific, and maybe those data that are collected is good for Spain at an international level. Maybe you could change a bit the incentives, maybe generating spin-offs and putting on the hat of business people. Do you think that's a good idea? What a question. In terms of the evaluation model at universities, yes, indeed, if you want to promote basic scientific research, well, a good indicator are publication. And you said in Spain that it worked, and it did. Well, be careful what you want to achieve, because sometimes you achieve many publications, but that doesn't mean that you have more spin-offs or more job positions. But every 6 years at universities, the academics are assessed in terms of the number of publications they have, and they get more money. In Spain, we have 13%. We are small, but we account for the 13% of the publication. So this is like a carrot. If in your career is the publication is what gives you something in return, then you only focus on publications. But if, as a country, you want that the university produce something else, you have to focus on something else. It doesn't mean that it will work automatically, because there is a problem. Researchers are researchers. Not all researchers are going to be spin-off creators. This is a dream. This is just a dream. When there is this example of the United States, of the startups, well, they have a model of 5,000 universities, where 300 of them are researching universities, and they have a model of spin-off training that is only present in not many universities, maybe only in 20, 50, even 100 if I'm being generous. So be careful where you are going. You have to think as a society where you want to go. Sometimes we don't think that at university we are there to produce professionals. The fundamental mission of the university in Spain has been designed to create engineers, doctors, nurses, and our engineers, our doctors and nurses are very, very good. The efficiency of a system producing architects and doctors and nurses, I would say, is one of the best in the world. The price, they're very cheap to produce, and in the States is much more expensive to produce a good doctor or a good nurse. So what do we want? Do we want to have good professionals, good researchers, or to produce spin-offs? And then, well, I know we don't have much time, but you ask these type of questions. Well, yeah, it's very interesting. Vicente, Marina? I don't know if this goes in line with what we were saying, but I would like to highlight the role of the regional government, and not only here to encourage people to participate in European programs, but also in Brussels. Whether you're a researcher or a company or a public institution, the office of our regional government in Brussels is working on these networks of collaboration, and is providing a service that is amazing to all participants and researching entities in the region that approaches to see how they can collaborate with their counterparts in Europe. So I wanted to highlight the work they're doing, and I encourage you to come to the expo as well. I don't know if there's any other questions. We don't have any time left, so I think we've all participated. I hope this has been interesting. It's been a fruitful debate, and thank you for being here. I give the floor to Jacobo. Thank you very much to all speakers that have participated today, to the participants that are still here today, to the spectators of the streaming service, and we conclude the today's session, and we wait for you at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Enjoy your afternoon. Thank you.